Hello, and welcome back to Mouthwash. I'm getting something set up right quick. Um, Today, if you couldn't tell by the title of the stream, we're going to talk about a little bit of car news. I'm going to express some of my disinterests with some of the things that I've seen come up recently. And I am going to go over some of my gripes with the industry as a whole, as I haven't clearly done in other streams, but this one's going to be more targeted because I pulled up Motor Trend the other day and it's basically the entire front page of Motor Trend is all EVs, so that's pretty much all everyone's doing nowadays. So I am gonna. Whoop, hello, I am on the wrong damn. There we go. Good lord. No secrets here. Not allowed to see what I'm gonna talk about. Um, this is new. I have a new. Well, not. Nothing's really new here. It's just more I have a new card here when I'm talking and not showing something on screen. Um, Good lord, I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit more. Jesus. Down. A little bit. There we go. Okay, good enough. um, so, recently, what I've noticed is most of pretty much everything happening in the auto industry is pointed towards electric vehicles. And clearly, again, we've talked about this before, that is a very bad thing. Um, yes, electric vehicles are good in a narrow sighted view of how the world works. Yes, electric vehicles are good because they're not producing, the vehicle itself is not producing carbon dioxide. But you produce a shit ton of carbon dioxide making the car. You make a shit ton of carbon dioxide producing the fucking batteries because you know how environmentally harmful extracting lithium is. It is so destructive to the natural landscape. Um, Not only that, as it currently stands, batteries, lithium ion batteries, once you use them long enough, they're pretty much absolutely worthless. So there will not be a an antique world for electric cars because as soon as that car runs past its warranty and as soon as the battery starts to degrade, it is entirely worthless unless you buy a brand new battery. But again, unlike a combustion engine, you cannot service a lithium ion battery and keep it running for decades. Because as soon as, you know, 10 years after the model is discontinued, imagine most of the car companies and part makers, not the car companies, the part makers, stop making parts for those cars. So why would they be inclined to continue to produce batteries for people who want to own antique electric cars? No, there's not. An electric car is a throwaway waste of money. Do not buy an electric car. If you're dead set on buying something with a battery, buy a hybrid because then you do not have a battery as big as one in an electric car. Hydrogen cars, hydrogen fuel cell cars are a good step towards something of the future. That is an incredible feat of technology, and I 100% support its development. The issue is that the hydrogen fuel cell powers an electric battery. So, like the Toyota Mirai is just an electric car with a hydrogen fuel cell. So, and not only that, but hydrogen consumes a lot of energy to compress the hydrogen into a form that you can use for an automobile. So you're kind of just taking the extra step in, in just pretty much meeting and matching an electric car. So it's just until all of that becomes commercially viable and or well not commercially viable until all of that becomes completely exponentially cheaper, I will still not support it. I will still buy a Prius. I hold that to myself right now. If you've looked at my Twitter and if you heard me on a couple streams, I will buy the next Prius, whatever the fifth gen is, as long as Toyota does not turn it into a pure SUV or crossover, whatever the fuck you want to call it. As long as it is not turned into a full high riding SUV, as long as it is still a hatchback, sportback sedan, not like a sedan like a Camry where the trunk's disconnected from the inside, and as long as they do not make it a fully electric car. As long as the Prius is still a sedan with a sportback with a hybrid engine, I will buy the 5th gen Prius. And also if it looked cool. If they make it look ugly and bubbly and nasty and it looks kind of like a Tesla, I probably won't buy it. We'll see about that when the 5th gen comes out. Um, but the main part of today, other than my griping about electric cars, is I wanted to talk about the one company that has kind of faded into obscurity over the past couple years, and is finally trying. Again, I'm very pessimistic about this. It's trying to clamber back into some sense of, importance or some sense of market share that it lost over the years. Um, Jeep is kind of more prevalent in um, overseas, specifically Europe, than it is here in North America. Um, Obviously, clearly, people still own Jeeps here. It's just I don't see as many of them as I used to see. People still buy them. People still buy a shit ton of Wranglers, but they do not sell volumes that that a lot of other car makers do. Ford, Toyota, Chevy, yada yada. Blame that on Stellantis. Stellantis is um, the parent company of Chrysler Fiat, which means Stellantis owns Fiat, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, um, Peugeot. What was the other one I was thinking about? Opel. Yeah, so there's a ton of cars that Stellantis owns, or a ton of automakers that Stellantis owns. Um, the thing that Jeep has tried to do to come back into fruition, because again, most of their cars, I said this last stream, or 2 streams ago, because last stream was rockets. Um, I said this, Jeep primarily makes their cars for the European market. So the interiors are laid out very differently than we have gotten used to and we enjoy here in North America. Um, I find even the brand new, except the Wrangler and the Grand Cherokee, which are specifically more tailored for the North American audience, everything else is just a rebranded Fiat. They all have really weird interiors. They just kind of look ugly. And the screens are tiny. I don't like them. Jeep's attempt to come back into market share in North America has almost entirely been electric vehicles. And say what you want to say about Stellantis and their attempt to try to get with, the modern times of everyone making electric cars, but also I know from my own knowledge, don't quote me on this, look it up yourself on Wikipedia, but I'm almost 100% certain that automakers get tax breaks for selling electric cars or hybrid vehicles. So I think a lot of this big push right now is taking on the public kind of anger right now with fuel prices. So they're trying to tap into people's want and desire for EV and hybrid vehicles to gain bigger tax breaks. But that's just me talking. So the first one we're going to look at is of all things, one of the ugliest things I've seen in a while, the Jeep Recon. Um, if you can't clearly tell, and if you look at it for more than 2 seconds, it's obviously a copy of the Ford Bronco. The Bronco was made by Ford to try to compete against the Wrangler, because the Wrangler really had no competition for years and years and years and years. Um, so the Bronco, what Jeep's target audience is very niche. There's a very niche off-road audience. So that market is very much in the area, or in it's the time to disrupt the off-road market, because Jeep really has the only vehicles that have sold well in the off-road segment. If you remember, years ago, Toyota tried to get to the off-road market. The F no, what the hell was it called? I think it was the FJ Cruiser. Um, I'm looking it up on my other monitor. Yeah, it was the FJ Cruiser. The Forerunner has always been a very good off-road, especially, the 2081. That's extremely popular for off-road, but that's a very concrete bedrock community. You're not going to disrupt the Forerunner community. Now, maybe you can claim that this thing, the Recon, is trying to disrupt the Forerunner, but even looking at it, its design is almost entirely trying to win back customers that bought the Bronco or are currently looking for the Bronco. This is very new and very fresh, hot off the press. Motor Trend brought this, or reported on this on the 8th, so this is pretty much brand new. There's almost no other information about it. The thing that I don't like, again, clearly it's an EV, or not clearly, but it is an EV. The Stellantis, and therefore Jeep, but I'm going to still say Stellantis, wanted and still wants to make a fully electric Wrangler. They brought out the Wrangler 4xe, which is a hybrid, to test the market, like to test the waters of their market to see how much people are in desire for, at that point, a hybrid Jeep, which seemed to go over well. So they still are going to make a Wrangler, but they are continuing to not do that. They seem, at least, to continue to be just dumping money into other projects. The whatever platform comes out that Stellantis makes for the Wrangler EV would most likely be shared with an EV version of the Ram pickup trucks. So that kind of makes sense that they would try to copy that over, to use for, another claim to fame, trying to make an electric pickup truck like Ford has. But right now, at least, this thing, Jeep has said it's not going to try to replace the Wrangler, which I'm surprised that this thing... Give it some time. I think that this will probably be the new face of Jeep, and they'll kill the Wrangler, and this will be the new Wrangler. It'll be the Recon. Again, it's clearly a Bronco, and I think Jeep got pissed off at how well the Bronco did compared to this, or compared to the Wrangler, because the Wrangler's old. It's been updated. Yes, it's gone through a couple of generations. It's gone through a couple of lifts, but there's not a lot of technology in the Wranglers, and that's kind of a big drive for some people that are weird, and I don't understand them. People that don't want a lot of technology, and I do understand that that makes it easier to work on a vehicle, so specifically the engine, stuff like that. If you don't have a hybrid and just a pure combustion engine, then it's easier to work on it if it's less complicated. But other than them being big, giant, bulky vehicles, there's not a lot of safety technology that Wranglers have. Um, so I think this is Jeep's again. Jeep will probably try to replace the Wrangler with this. Um, I think that this is going to be a test bed for some of the better, modern tech that every other vehicle in the world has, like blind spot monitoring, lane trace, um, braking, automatic braking, stuff like that. If Stellantis is trying to get that into the North American market, this will probably be the test bed for how well that works with off-roading, because the Grand Cherokee, I'm fairly certain, has a lot of that stuff, because why the hell wouldn't it? But this is their first test to see the off-road market how off-road customers respond to a vehicle with this much technology built into it. Because the Wrangler, they couldn't do that. If they tried to do that with the Wrangler, no one would buy it. So this is a trial to see if they could do this with the Wrangler. Um, it has removable doors. Clear. This is an automatic slideshow. I did not do that. That was perfect timing. It has removable doors, just like the Bronco does. I would not be surprised if this does not come in a two-door version. Um, I'm fairly. I'm drawing a blank. Does the Bronco come in? I don't think it does. It does, doesn't it? It does come in a two-door. I thought so. Part of me was just like, does it? Okay, it does. Um, I'm almost fairly certain that this thing is not going to come in a two-door, or yeah, a two-door, because that would necessitate Stellantis to reconfigure their entire platform to, you know, redo this. Ow! I hit my microphone. To rebuild the entire platform to bring it up to make it a two-door. And what else was I gonna say? Um, I don't think it's gonna be as good as the Bronco. Ford has a lot more money than Stellantis does. Stellantis clearly, again, big giant company, but I think that out of the two of these, the Bronco will beat out the Recon, whatever the hell this thing's called. The only unless it has some kind of groundbreaking, tech shit that the Bronco doesn't have, um, the Bronco is just it was first to the market, and unless the only reason someone would buy this is specifically for it being an EV, but I don't think there's a lot of want for this. Um, Now, this is also an attempt to combat against Rivian, because Rivian has been the other um, competitor in recent years. I'm going to swap over to pictures of that. Rivian has been the other competitor in the past couple years for Jeep because Rivian is very, very, very niche about making off road capable cars. Um, their vehicles are very tuned to being off road, camping minded people. The R1, um, whatever the hell their pickup truck was called, is very much attacking the camping off road crowd. So they really disrupted Jeep's market hold on that very specific segment that Jeep is in tuned with. And now with this, the pictures that are shown here, the Rivian SUV, what the hell is it called? Uh, the R1S, I guess, because all tech companies nowadays are unoriginal and come up with the same five fucking names. Um, this thing is 100% a jab at everything else that Jeep is. Again, EVs, dumbass fucking idea, but whatever. Um, the this is a jab against the Grand Cherokee and also is a jab against Jeep's other SUVs. So like the Compass, the Cherokee, yada yada. I think the Recon is also not only trying to fight against the Bronco, but also trying to compete against this, which is about to come out, um, or has already come out. Um, this is go this I like Rivian more than I would buy a Rivian EV more than Jeep. Um, because they're just cooler and they're just nicer on the insides. Um, Jeep is attempting to kill two birds with one stone by trying to fight back against this and also trying to fight back against the Bronco. So neither are going to work. Neither, I highly doubt. Take me come. We'll come back in a couple years and see how that's going. It'll probably sell. I'm not discounting that people will buy the Recon, but it is more a little bit down to earth than some like the Wrangler hybrid because not a lot of civilized people who live in urban areas want to buy a Wrangler because it consumes gasoline at an incredible, alarming rate. But this is more targeted, or the Recon. I'll go back to the Recon. Um, the Recon's more targeted at the civilian. I'm gonna call it the civilian market. Um, and I don't know. I just feel like this is a blatant attempt. Oh Christ! Hold on, there's someone at my door. I will be right back, my people. My pest control people are here. Hold on me 1 second. Okie dokie. Sorry for the wait, you guys. My my pest control people are here. They said they were supposed to be here at 6, but I guess they're early. Um, the thing that I want to do. Um, they're coming back for a signature. That's why I'm not gonna get back into ranting about shit right quick. What was I talking about? What was I talking about? Christ. I'm also doing something with the stream in the background. There we go. Okay, so this thing, Recon. Sum up. It's a competitor summary for the Forerunner and for the Bronco. Um, Chevy really doesn't have any off quote unquote off roady vehicles anymore. Um, and no one else really does anymore. uh, who else? Yeah, shit. No one really else has off roady vehicles. Um, so I don't think this will sell very much. It'll probably sell. It won't sell as much as the Bronco. That's my bet right now. Um, and it's new. This is fresh, tasty new info. Um, we'll see. We'll come back to this and we'll see. Next thing I want to talk about is another Jeep. This one being one called the Avenger. This is a new, want. Oh, it's ugly. It is so ugly. It's so ugly. This is a new electric Jeep. Again, this one's targeted at the European audience because it rides on a Stellantis platform, being that it's one of the, um, you know, it's riding on a Fiat platform, pretty much. Um, uh, the name Avenger came from Dodge. Remember that ugly ass car? So now there's going to be confusion about the Avenger. I know it's two different brands, but still. Um, this thing is hideous. And it is trying to. Also, you can see that it has a European license plate on it. Um, this thing will not be sold in the U.S. It will not be sold in North America. And it, huh? Oh, yeah, it's tiny. It's a little itty bitty tiny car. Um, this thing will is a competitor for the small SUV segment. So that's cars like the Trailblazer, the new Trailblazer, um, the Honda HR-V, the Corolla Cross, a lot of that same market, whatever the Hyundai one is, that's the same. Small SUV. I wouldn't really call the Kia Soul because it looks bigger than a Kia Soul. Um, so I doubt that this is this looks bigger than a Kia Soul. Um, Again, this is very ugly. It looks absolutely hideous, but it is coming to overseas. It is not coming to North America, which I'm glad because I don't want to have to look at it. Um, it's full electric, which again, Stellantis is trying to get tax breaks. Um, the Let me see what else I had wrote down about that. um, the Yeah, this thing is going to replace a lot of Jeep's smaller SUVs overseas, like the Compass, stuff like that. They hope that most sales of. I was reading over my notes, I'm sorry. Most sales of vehicles overseas will hopefully be EVs, but again, that's Stellantis' marketing. Um, this is also coming out. Again, Stellantis owns Dodge, Jeep, Fiat, Chrysler, yada yada yada. Um, the this technically, I guess, is coming to North America because we're getting it in the form of the Dodge Hornet. I know it's still ugly. Um, so this is pretty much the exact same car, running on the same platform. It's fully electric, but it's a Dodge. So Dodge, for some fucking reason, is getting a small SUV when they could have just shipped the damn fucking Avenger over here instead of rebuilding it all for Dodge. I think that this is trying to be Ferrari's. What is that? Is it the Ferrari F1 or the Ferrari Pace? Hold on. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about the electric Ferrari SUV. Is the I-Pace? What am I thinking about? What the hell am I thinking about? Oh, it's an Aston. No, it's not. Jaguar, not a Ferrari. It's a Jaguar. The Jaguar I-Pace. This is kind of the same size. Not really. It looks a little smaller actually now that I'm looking at pictures of it. Um, yeah, it's Jaguar. I thought it was Ferrari for some reason. Um, I think this is Dodge's attempt at making, or it's not Dodge, it's Stellantis, but this is an attempt at trying to compete against the I-Pace. I don't think. I think a very small handful of these will get sold. Like the Dodge Dart. The Dodge Dart was kind of good in terms of sales, but it was just a rebranded Fiat. This is just a rebranded overseas Jeep. I don't think this is going to sell at all. I think this is going to flop. It'll last one model generation. They'll attempt to make back what they made on design and production to try to build this Dodge version of it, and then it'll disappear for the rest of the time. I don't look. Can you completely tell that this is the exact same car? Look at the front of this. Do you see under the Dodge logo? There's that little strip. There's the two little lines of the grill. Look at the G. It's the exact same car. I know that's a design thing, but it's still, these are the exact. Whoa! I clicked on it too many. These are the exact same car. These are literally the exact same car. Um, so we'll see. I doubt that this thing's gonna sell at all. I think this is gonna be a total incomplete, not good. um, what does I have the article over here open? Um, it's a 23, but it's just I guess they'll try to make it a touring car or some kind of family SUV. The interior is hideous. The interior is absolutely hideous from the pictures I've seen of it. Um, Not impressed. Not impressed at all. I'm usually not impressed by Dodge in the first place, um, but I'm just extraordinarily not impressed by this. Um, so I'm gonna make it go away. The next one I want to talk about is not that at all. Next thing I want to talk about is the um this thing. Ugh. So remember the WK or the WJ Jeep, the like 2000s, like early 2000s, 90 like 99 to 2008 Jeep. This is what this looks like. Um, this is Jeep's attempt at making a fully electric SUV for the civilian segment that's not the Recon. Um, these are all concepts. I don't think that there's any like real information about this yet. Um, I think that this is going to be built on the exact same platform as the Recon that we looked at earlier. Remember the electric Bronco, pretty much. I think this is going to be built on that same platform because it's fully electric. Um, it will attempt to break into Chevy's growing market of EVs. So that's the new Blazer and the Equinox, which are fucking hideous. But I think that both of those are going to be the competitor for this thing. So this is 100% road, you know, road civilian like. Um, and it's going to be ugly. I think this will probably sell more. Clearly, it will sell more than the Hornet. I think this will sell more than the Recon because whenever this comes out, it'll sell more than the Recon. Um, the Recon again is very niche focused on off-roady, being rugged. You know, it'll have a lot of hard plastic. It'll be built like the Bronco. It'll be built on the inside. It'll be big, knobby, chunky buttons. This will be very, luxury. It'll be streamlined, leather wrapped steering wheel, stuff like that. So I think this will probably sell more because rich people will buy anything because rich people are fucking stupid. As you can see by people in North America that still buy Suburbans and Tahoes and Yukons and the new Grand Cherokee. Um, Arguably, I do like the look of the new Grand Cherokee. I would never buy one because it's a Jeep, but I do kind of like the look of it. It's very my style. Um, I also think this is, again, Jeep's better attempt at competing against the Explorer. The Explorer is very, very, very popular, and also, Jeep or Ford gets government contracts for police cars, so the Ford Explorer is very well sold. So I do not compare. I do because they're the same market, but I really don't compare the Grand Cherokee and the Forester because the Grand Cherokee is, yes, there's the Grand Wagoneer, which is 100% a Tahoe clone, But I think that the Grand Cherokee has always or has built itself up over the past couple years. It wasn't in the early 2000s. Early 2000s, the Grand Cherokee was 100% an Explorer clone. It was trying to be a competition for the Explorer. But now that the Grand Cherokee has grown up in size and shape, and it's now a Dodge Durango, or it's built on the platform of the Dodge Durango, or it has been for a while. But you get my point. I think that the Dodge Durango and the Grand Cherokee are trying to be the Durango. Stupid people buy the Durango, but the Grand Cherokee is 100% in the Tahoe segment because it's the luxury, you know, big. Maybe the Lexus GX. You can compare it against the Lexus GX, LX, stuff like that. The luxury level 3-row SUV. I'm fairly certain it's 3-row, but that big super-sized family SUV. This looks to be about the same. Oh, hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I just had to sign for it. They're gone. Um, I think that this will still be stupid luxury. It'll be, stupidly appointed. It'll be more expensive than the Grand Cherokee. But I think this will try to pierce into the same size segment as the Explorer. Not the same wealth, because, the Explorer is going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than this because the Explorer is not a battery car. Um, I think that this will try to get that same market, rich people who want this size of car as the Explorer, because it looks to be, especially that picture, looking at the back quarter, um, the back quarter panel when it's I'm trying to wait for the picture to come up. The back quarter panel on the bridge, the white car, um, that is it looks very. Even this picture looks very very. This one looks very very similar to the same size and shape of the Explorer. Um, Good lord, I'm gonna catch my breath. Um, I think that this will be an Explorer clone. It'll probably be priced. It's stupid over, 70,000, whatever. Um, but this is again battery electric cars. Stop, for the love of fucking Christ! Can we not, for 5 minutes, make electric cars? I just, ugh. And California banned the sale of combustion cars. That's good, cool. Why not invest in fucking public transit? Why do we need to be built? Don't change the status quo. Don't change the status quo. Just live the exact same life and not try to fix, society as a whole. Why don't we just invest in public transit? Why? Like this. This is why I had these pictures here. If you want an electric car, why not have this? This is still fucking stupid because it's still, batteries, and it costs a shit ton more money to, service them, but for the most part, these are just done as tax breaks. These costs, especially HRT, that this picture and the first one are both of HRT where I live. HRT is the Transit Authority for Newport News, or Newport News for I don't even live in Newport News. Um, the Transit Authority for Hampton Roads. Good lord. Um, HRT bought these for a tax break, and they put them on some of the busiest lines. And I cannot imagine that their upkeep per month is comparable to a regular car, a regular diesel bus, because they're battery electric vehicles. They cost Over time, yes, they cost less money to service, but the upfront cost of buying these, if you don't have good, reliable public transit, it's worthless. The buses, they bought these, and then the buses that they replaced, they trashed. I'm almost fairly certain that they replaced buses in their fleet with these. They did not shuffle the buses around. And they only bought like 5 or 10 of them. Um, the buses that they bought, they did not use to make new bus lines or increase the efficiency of existing bus lines. They just plopped an electric bus in the normal route. They didn't give it anything special. Why would you buy an electric bus? Why would you as an entity, as an entity that owns a transit authority, why would you invest the upfront cost in buying an electric car or electric car? I'm still on the car brain. Why would you invest the upfront money in buying an electric bus, building the infrastructure for charging those buses, compared to the infrastructure you most likely already have for diesel buses? HRT has a huge fleet of diesel buses and a growing and large fleet of CNG buses. We have a lot of CNG buses in Hampton Roads, especially down at the ocean front. Why would you not just buy more CNG buses? I don't understand. It makes no sense why you'd buy an electric bus. At that point, just build a trolley bus. Trolley buses have an infinite range. You don't need to worry about the battery running out of time or battery running out of charge while you're on the road. Make a trolley bus. Even then, even cheaper over time than a trolley bus would be a tram. Imagine that. Imagine building a tram instead of buying a battery electric bus. Wow. Wow. Oh, I am so. My city is so smart. They bought fucking electric buses. I just cannot. I cannot. I saw. The first time I saw one of these things, I was just completely floored because I never even heard that HRT bought them. I did not see the article on Wavy because it just flew under my fucking radar. But I was just so frustrated. I almost ran into the bus because I was just blinded with anger at the my fucking I'm gonna turn into a NIMBY. My tax dollars were used to buy an electric bus. I just can't. It literally did not process with me when I first saw one of these things. And this is an HRT bus. That picture, I did not take that, but it's an HRT bus. Um, I mean, they're fast. I'll give them that. I mean, it's a fucking electric bus. It better be fast. But I saw one of them on the highway because we have a couple express lines that go on the highway for some fucking reason. I saw them on the highway and it was keeping up with traffic doing 85, and I was just so surprised. I guess that's the one thing you can give electric buses is that they're fast because it's an electric vehicle. So it was usually the diesel buses that get on the highway go 60, 65. This thing was keeping up with traffic going 85 on our interstate, which is 8 lanes with 4 lanes on each side. I was just so shocked. I was like, look at the bus go to Kauai, because we were in the car together. Um, why would you not build trolley buses? Just make a fucking trolley bus. This also brings up the point of contention about charging infrastructure. You have to dedicate so much money upfront, to build charging infrastructure for these buses that you've now bought. You have to buy charging stations and build them in some, depot that you have to charge them overnight. And if you can't charge them overnight, then you have to have. If you can't charge them overnight because your route system is too long for that, with the amount of economies of scale, with the amount of buses you have over time, over their trip, if it doesn't make sense, if you can't have one bus do the journey all day long once for the whole day, then you have to buy more to charge to then swap out with the ones that the battery is almost dead. So you have to buy more than it just uh um I can't. The charging infrastructure you need for these things. And even electric cars in general. The one, gripe that everyone says, carbon offsets, whatever. My car is not powered by, you know, diesel, or my car's not powered by diesel. My car is not powered by electricity that's made by burning fossil fuels because carbon offsets. No, it's not how it works. It's still electricity. Why not just, you know, build a train? Insert Adam Fisher meme. Um, why would you not just build trains? I'm so frustrated. And this is one of the stupidest things that I've ever seen HRT do, other than allowing the tide to be shot down, which is the light rail I complained about a couple streams ago. Um, I don't know. I just I have a lot of issues. I have a lot of issues with battery electric buses. I have a lot of issues with the new electric cars coming out. Yeah, I don't know. I've worn myself out complaining about electric cars today. um, I love all of you. Um, remember, never buy a fully electric vehicle. Just buy a hybrid or a gasoline. Just and for Christ's sake, tell the people that you elected into office to build more public transit. Um, no, God save the Queen. Um, I love all of you. I'm tired. I'm gonna go take a nap. My head hurts. Good night. Follow me everywhere. Join my Discord. There's no one on there, but please, for the love of God, I need people to join it. Um, follow me on Twitter. I always post fun stuff there, and whatever. I like and retweet a lot of stuff. Subscribe to me on YouTube. I have all the VODs there, and I love you all. Have a good night. Bye.